Attention Squadron Force, it's me, TheArcosian, and do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is D-Free.
And today's segment is about, because this isn't a topic that I always wanted to cover. It's about the House Saiyans and why they are actually stronger than the full-blooded Saiyans. And in this discussion video, we should get more thoughts and ideas why this could be, and then we go to the Daisenshu, which I have, and say why it's pointed to that the House Saiyans might or are actually stronger than the full-blooded Saiyans. So I think you should start with your theory.
Definitely, no problem.
Okay.
Well, I personally feel like the half Saiyans have more potential, but they don't always act upon their potential. So what I mean by that is we know, I guess Gohan would be the prime example for a half Saiyan with all of
Mm-hmm.
his unlocked potential, of course, and whatnot. But they never really had the same drive to better themselves. So as a result, they probably didn't get as strong as they potentially could have been. But if you're just talking about raw potential and untapped fighting ability, then yeah, they would have the edge. But full-blooded Saiyans, I believe that since they have that drive to keep bettering themselves and they have that thirst for battle, they actually are able to get a bit stronger. Why don't you touch upon that a little bit? Let me know how you feel about it.
Okay. Well, I think you gave a very good thought on that point, but I think I have to say something else on that matter because we can see when we go back in the time where the weak Saiyans are born, and we have the low class Saiyan, the high class Saiyan like Kid Vegeta, King Vegeta, and I would put
Yeah.
Bardock now into that level too, even if he's a low class warrior. Back in the day, if I recall, Bardock at that time when he fought Frieza had a power level with 10,000, just as much as King Vegeta had. So we could assume, and I think they all just attack planets, but they never ever train. Like, I think the only person that actually trained, or we could see training, was Kid Vegeta back in the day with Cyberman, and maybe he was even more powerful than King Vegeta. But you're kind of right that they're more powerful when they're using their lust for battle, so that they always try to defeat somebody, even if they're stronger or weaker. But the problem is what they don't have is when they
Hmm.
go enraged. I mean, they cannot unlock that full, how to say, with the difference with the humans have. If they go angry, they have like an adrenaline push in their body. I could say that's what I think.
Yeah.
My theory is backing it up. So with the adrenaline is pushing, like in the example with Gohan, his multiply, his power levels gets doubled, and that's why. Not even that, it might even get higher because I mean, if I recall, in the beginning of the Saiyan saga, Reddit's power level was 1,300 and Gohan's was 4.5, and he was when he was imprisoned in that capsule. Um, and when
Yes.
he became enraged, he had like a powerful boost to 1,200. That's why he cracked that armor, and he potentially could have killed Reddit. And what actually funny is, then we got to the Daizenshu. Vegeta even saying something to that matter. I quote Vegeta. Vegeta and Nappa talking about that matter. At any rate, the battle power of Kakarot's son is unusually high, even by the standards of a Saiyan children. Nappa, maybe his reading was wrong. Vegeta, no, it wasn't wrong. Reddit's really look like a amount of damage, really took amount of damage from that Brad's attack. It seemed that mixing Saiyan and Earthling blood gets a powerful hybrid, even stronger than a full-blooded Saiyan might become. And
Hmm.
then we got a second information that even Vegeta would actually, to the idea with Nappa points out that he actually had asked if it would be a good idea if they make children an army so that they can make a new planet Vegeta. And Vegeta said no, because he might be scared that the full-blooded Saiyan might have been taken out by the full potential that the half Saiyans or hybrids could have had. So, with that, I would like to know your points on that, what I said.
Well, definitely. You actually did point out a few really good points there. I believe that when you mix human and Saiyan, you get the best of both worlds in a sense because you get the Saiyans, their fighting prowess and their tacticianship, and then you also get the human emotions, which kind of touches upon what you were saying, where Gohan would just get enraged, and I also seen Future Trunks do that a couple of times as well, where they just experience this full-on burst of power, no matter how long it lasts, because Gohan's would typically last just a few seconds because he did it against Raditz, he did it against Frieza, where he reaches this level that he's stronger than the opponent for a brief moment there. So I believe that you had pointed out a couple of really good points there when it comes to mixing them and whatnot. And also, half Saiyans don't really have the same ego, I want to say, or the same pride that a full Saiyan has. Goku is a bit of an exception because he was raised on Earth, so he has a bit of the personality of an Earthling. But when you talk about all the other Saiyans, they let their ego get in their way a bit, which could also be a detriment in battle, which also kind of speaks to why Frieza wanted to eliminate the full Saiyans whenever he had the chance, and he did ultimately do so, because they also had a whole lot of just unlocked potential. He said, I believe, that they were on track to becoming the most powerful warrior race in the universe, which is why he ultimately did that. I mean, I'm a bit mixed on the matter, to be honest. I don't feel like half Saiyans are stronger per se. I feel like they have the potential to be stronger because, as we just touched on, they do have that emotion. And like I said, you do get the best of both worlds, of course. But the one thing that kind of gets in the way of half Saiyans is they don't have that drive to better themselves. And I have to drive that point home because they don't train. They don't work. I mean, they just get completely complacent in times of peace. Gohan is the perfect example. You know, Cell Saga Gohan was awesome, strongest character in all of Dragon Ball Z at that point in time. They go through the 7 years, I believe it was, and he just got real soft. He lost all his bulk, everything. He got real soft. Of course, he got stronger again. But the same could be said, if you want to consider GT and whatnot, the same can be said about Goten and Trunks. Same thing happened to them. I mean, they stopped completely.
Okay, wait a second. Now I have to say something else right now. GT is, let's not touch on that matter because they fucked up too many things to make it correct. But the next thing is that I don't want to talk about. The problems with Gohan taking an example on that matter. I agree on you. I think that the ego and the pride that Saiyans have, just like at Vegeta shown, you get a huge boost, like in Fukatsu Knife has been shown, when you use your primal instincts, use them in battle. That's why I think the full-blooded Saiyans are better fighters than the half-blooded Saiyans, but I think the half-blooded Saiyans have, like you said, the potential to be stronger. But to the other point, let's go back, that Gohan is not the right example. Well, we have his mother, Chi-Chi, all loving for his son, likes to become a doctor or a teacher or something else, not become a fighter like Goku is. And that's why it lies on this characteristic, not to train, not to have that drive. He had that drive, like we could see in Cell. He said, I don't like to fight, so we could point that out. But then again, it contradicts themselves because this can only be a characteristic of Gohan, because Gotenks and Trunks liked to fight. They, even if they got Gotenks, they were so full of themselves, let's go fight Majin Buu, woo! And then Majin Buu fucks them up like in that battle tank, even if it was, I don't know if it was filler or not, but there was beat up like in 5 seconds, and then when Super Buu came, I remember you guys, you were fucking weak, and then, so we could say, that's why we have to wait for Dragon Ball Super when Teen Goten has been shown, and Teen Trunks, how they work out. Or the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, so we could see, well, Goten didn't slack off because he was training with Goku. Trunks kinda did because he said himself, I'm gonna cut your pay if you don't come to the tournament. So we could go like that, but it's hard to touch.
Yeah. Very, very true. I think that whenever they're kids, they all kind of enjoy the battle. Same could be said for Gohan. When he was a kid, all he did was train. I mean, Chi-Chi tried to make him focus on school and whatnot, but Goku was always there. So he did get a lot of training, and he did enjoy fighting, and he took part in a lot of memorable battles, same as the kids did for I'm talking about Goten and Trunks, where they fought Majin Buu. I don't think that they had any more of a desire to battle than Kid Gohan did, but I mean, you did touch upon a good point. We won't speak on GT. Okay, we won't speak on GT, but whenever you bring up the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, it seemed to me like Goten had stopped training for a while, and Goku was just started whipping him back into shape again. It seemed like he was kind of taking up that persona that we saw. Never mind, we're not going to say that. Where he was just completely into girls and all that stuff like that. I think Gohan, he had a steady trajectory towards becoming more of, like you said, leadership figure, whether it was a doctor or a scientist or something of that nature. And then ultimately he started, taking on the persona of being a father. So he may not be the best example, but I don't feel like Goten or Trunks stayed on the course. But if they had stayed on the course, any of those three characters, if they had stayed the course and continued training their entire lives, they would have been the strongest characters in Dragon Ball Z, period. Because when you look at them as children and you look at Goku and Vegeta as children, there's not even any comparison. There's not even any comparison whatsoever to them at that age. So if they would have kept on training, they would have been way, way stronger than those two.
I mean, Goku's power level as a kid is 2. That's nothing. And Kid Vegeta, maybe he was around 10,000 or 12,000, but we could see that through the point. Like, it took him, I don't know how much he was. I think in Saint Saga he was 30 or close to being 30, so in that area. And his power level was only 18,000. Even if he destroyed planets, he didn't even really change, because I don't think he didn't have a rival. And we can touch on other point, because Taro became, thanks to Battle of Gods, canon from the special episode of Yo. Yes. This guy is not a fighter himself. He has the characteristic of a half Saiyan. I mean, this guy is a true guy, like, oh, you have a power level way too high. Or when somebody else, Aku and Abba appeared, I don't know if I speak the names correctly, but he didn't have the drive to test himself or fight against somebody from the group. He was just kind person, the little brother, the goody two-shoes.
Yeah.
So we could say that there even it depends on their characteristics. I mean, there might be a lot of Saiyans who were born like with the primal culture, like Bardock, trying to become through the low-class Saiyan status and trying to make it a union, or not like you're low class, we are high class, you be lower, you do the dirty work, and we sit there on the freaking couch. But when Bardock can kick mostly of their asses with a problem, maybe King Vegeta could have better fight. But then again, when we go to the Uzaru forms, they all become primal. Like, they're all based on instinct. So that, again, backs you up that the Saiyans do have a lot of, not emotions going for them, but the primal instinct that is going for them to make the drive becoming stronger. But just like as you stated, when the Saiyans, the half Saiyans, the hybrids, really would have trained. Because when you go back to the Cell Saga, or better say even that, I mean, Gohan always multiplies his power by enraging. By Goten on Trunks, it is not the same kind of way, but they were born with already, I think they were 8 and 7, both became Super Saiyan without even trouble. I mean, Chi-Chi trained with Goten and he became the Super Saiyan, like, oh my goodness. Or 500 gravity training with Kid Trunks, like, for reals? I don't want to see the next
That's what
kid.
I said.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like, you can't even compare them because they are 8 and 7 years old and they're already Super Saiyans. Like, it took their fathers half their lives to be able to achieve that level of power. And that kind of goes into the Super Saiyan gene theory, which is a whole other thing that doesn't really make sense to me as to why they could be so strong so young. But I think that kind of touches upon the, just the half Saiyans having the potential to be great fighters. And that could also stem, like I said, from the gene theory where, their fighters their fathers were already such great fighters at the time, but that doesn't really speak for Gohan because Goku's power level was like 300 when Gohan was born or something like that. Yeah. It was just really, really minuscule. And then also you touched a really good point with Tarbell, who is canon now because he got mentioned in Battle of Z, of course. He didn't really seem like he had a Battle of Gods. I'm sorry about Battle of Z. Oh man. It didn't seem like Tarbell had the same drive like a full Saiyan would to continue to better himself and whatnot. He was kind of timid, standoffish. He didn't really want to fight Amo and Cabo. So yeah, you did touch a really good point there. And all the other full Saiyans that we have come to notice in the series, I mean, first off, as a race, Full Saiyans, before the Super Saiyans started, popping up left and right, Full Saiyans were pretty much the cream of the crop. There wasn't too many being stronger than them, I guess, aside from the Arcosians. So, I mean, whenever it comes down to, when we're talking about Full Saiyans and Persona and all that stuff, Bardock, he, as a prime example, did what he could. He seemed like a guy that trained his entire life, but couldn't reach, couldn't reach the pinnacle of Super Saiyan power, or Saiyan power for that instance. But once again, the potential of a half Saiyan could reach that level at such a young age.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm taking it from the filler episode, but maybe this is non-canon. but maybe this is canon. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I have to.
Yeah.
If this is canon, I'm just put a screenshot where it's right down it's canon or not. If it's not, you won't see it. So with that, been taken out. But I got something else from the Daisenshu, which is like the canon encyclopedia of Dragon Ball. The Tailor's second generation are super ultra child prodigies from the Saiyan race. Saiyan genes have an extraordinarily good compatibility with the Earthling blood. Because of this, when the two races are mixed together, children with formidable power are born. Particularly those halflings born without tails hide an expansion.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I haven't heard that theory per se. I mean, I know that the
things
Tuffles,
that
I don't really know if
naturally
they're
mastered
canon or
from
not,
a
but I know
young
that
age
that
or
was
can
initially their
master from a
planet.
young age, such as the ordinarily Drurios transformation into a Super Saiyan. In spite of having such an outstanding battle sense, they do not have a fondness for battle like pure Saiyan. Instead, it seems that the violent temperament of the Saiyan has been relaxed through the Earthling blood. So again, it always, not always, but again, it points out that you're kind of right with the human blood have taken out the instincts of becoming and thriving stronger and beating everyone. That is quite sad, but maybe it changes. We don't know if even Dragon Ball Super can change everything because we have to touch the multiverse yet.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's very, very true. I mean, we're still ultimately. I mean, we have some good resources and stuff like that, but I feel like Dragon Ball Super, when it comes out, it's gonna touch upon, like you said, more multiverses and stuff like that, because I feel like that's the only route they can really go. But that's a whole nother topic, and we may see more Saiyans, and we may have a bit more information to kind of back up our theories here. I mean, ultimately, like I said, I kind of am torn between the two sides because Saiyans full bred have the tacticians and they're the better fighters overall in battle. They're geniuses. I mean, if you look at Goku and Vegeta, them being able to come up with some of the things that they come up with in the heat of battle, it's just remarkable. And you look at the half Saiyans, they don't really seem to have that, or maybe they just haven't really been put in that same position to where they really needed to become better tacticians, on the mental side of fighting and not just the physical side. So I feel like whenever Dragon Ball Super comes out, we touch more on, more Saiyans potentially and more multiverse and all that stuff. We'll probably get a bit more information and we'll see a few more things to kind of back up either side.
Or it contradicts himself and destroys something that we have built up or got built out.
Toriyama's good for that.
Always can change. That is true. He can change everything. He is Akira Toriyama or now Oishi or Toible. Everyone can change because everyone is the official successor of Dragon Ball Z now.
Yeah.
Because but the thing is that I actually want to point out again, which you said, when we had Gohan and he became after the hyperbolic time chamber, I think he is a genius of its own as well. I mean, he took the guidance of Goku, but he surpassed him at that time, and he is 11 years old. So I wouldn't say that. We could say this: Saiyans are better fighters and have a better, not durability, but a better will on keep on thriving, becoming better. But half Saiyans are like prodigies, like they absorb everything faster. That's why they become faster Super Saiyans or Super Saiyan 2, reach higher levels, or surpass even their fathers or grandfathers or anyone else around them, because they're just geniuses, not only on the mental side, but on the physical side. I mean, when we had Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and he became that, he was over-Cell like the 2 times over him. He had not even issues. He didn't give a fuck if Cell punched him or did anything with him. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep you alive because I want to even destroy you further. Yeah, but we could see that the more Saiyan power that he took in, the more arrogance he took from this full-blood Saiyan. So their relaxed blood took away. So when they tap into the Saiyan world, Super Saiyan world, I would say that's why they even better fighters, even in the Super Saiyan state, because they're then even closer of being a full-blood Saiyan.
Very true. I mean, their primal stuff, the more they tap into their Saiyan power, that's a good point, the more that
You got cut off.
You got cut off a second ago, too.
Nah, I'm just going to cut it, so take again.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
I was saying that you had reached a really good point there. Whenever they start to tap more into their Saiyan powers, they seem to, get more arrogant and full of themselves, and they take on more of the persona of full-blooded Saiyan. And also, Gohan is actually a really, really good example. I love Teen Gohan. He's my favorite character. But then also, whenever he became Ultimate Gohan and he got his Elder Unlock ability and whatnot, he really just got super arrogant. He was just, I remember one line, it was epic. He was like, no, I've came to kill you. Super epic.
Yeah.
So the more that they tap into that power, the more they start to take on the persona of a full-blooded Saiyan. That was a really good point there. I personally feel like I said, half Saiyans, they're just, you actually said it perfectly. They're more of proteges, whereas full Saiyans, they're more of the mentor type, because Gohan did surpass his father at many points in time, and then the kids, like I said, they did surpass their respective fathers at such a young age and whatnot. Imagine if Gohan was able to become a Super Saiyan at like 7 or 8. He did it like 11.
He did it at 11.
Yeah, how strong would he be when he fought Cell? Like, seriously. I mean, could the dude have gone Super Saiyan 3 or what? I don't know. I mean, Ultimate Gohan was stronger than Super Saiyan 3, of course, which touches on another thing. I mean, just how much potential do these half Saiyans really, really have, to be honest? I mean, Future Trunks is an example. He went Super Trunks 2 or Ascended, Ultra, whatever you want to call it.
Ultra Stage Trunks.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. And they said that, they kind of hinted on that Vegeta could kind of do it as well.
Yeah, Super Vegeta.
But Trunks... Yeah, but I mean, if you really want to say half Saiyans wouldn't, if you're somebody that would say that full Saiyans would be stronger or potentially have more potential than a half Saiyan, how come Future Trunks could reach that level as well? Granted, that wasn't the best state for him to be in, but his power level was so massive that he became stronger than Cell. Now imagine if he could kind of purify that form, drop some of the bulk off, and maintain the power.
Yeah, like he did in Dragon Ball Multiverse, like where he mastered that Ultra Stage form. But then again, it was a suppressed Cell. Like he was not even tapping in his full power. He was still training. So I wouldn't say that Trunks could surpass him, but we could say he could surpass Vegeta at that time, that Super Vegeta, because he is kinda that Ultra Stage mastered Vegeta Science. He's bulkier, but he's not that as bulky as freaking Trunks was, where he was all super muscle up, punches in the ground splits freaking halfway, like for real, this is crazy.
Oh, my muscles. He got really, really big.
Yeah,
there.
Steroids for real. Like he took freaking like in the hyperbolic tape, steroids. No, but the next thing is that I would like to see when Akira Toriyama is overwatching of Dragon Ball Super. I want to see this. That Gohan is not 24/7 hours a day a teacher, like maybe 7 hours a day is good enough to be a teacher, or 8 hours, but like 2-3 hours on training, so that he can still go back on his ultimate form and try to perfectionize it, or try to tap into the Super Saiyan 3 level, or even reaching the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan level, even if it's kinda... It's not impossible, because Vegeta did it without touching the 6 pure-hearted Saiyans.
To me. That really, really didn't make sense to me, how Vegeta could get there.
I wouldn't say it didn't make sense, Science. The thing is, I think you need to reach that God status. You need some guidance, you know. Or I would say that the 6 pure-hearted Saiyan is like a shortcut. Like, I get in the base form of a God really fast. That's why Vegeta never didn't show us his base form of a God, because he was guided by Whis-sama. He showed him how to tap into the God realm. So it shows us that even Golden Frieza, he tapped into the God state, even if he's not even a God form. So we could assume every character has now the chance to tap into that world, or even had the chance to tap into the God realm. It just shows that gods are still beatable. So, but then again, I think the full power, like we stated in Fukatsu F, Beerus never found full potential, and then Daisenshu and Vikia stands that his full power is a whole universe complete of its own. So I actually want to see it, but then again I don't want to see it because a full powered up universe, I think I don't want to fight against something so omnipotent at that. But
very true. I can't wait to see a Earthling God. That would be crazy. God Krillin.
Or Tien has to get us off back. From original Dragon Ball series, he was so epic. Till Cell Saga, Yeah, and then again, humans become irrelevant. Even Piccolo, who had the best drastic change from all occurs. I mean, he was the big, meanest dude. His father killed race. He wanted, like, every year, I'm gonna destroy a freaking city. So in 45 years, everyone is gonna be dead. And then he changed into this, like, grandfather guy, keeping care of children. And this is another topic for something else, but we can both talk something else for changes and expectations. But we can agree on this, that the half-blooded Saiyans are prodigies and have a higher potential to reach something faster than a full-blooded Saiyan, but the full-blooded Saiyan has an advantage because of the primal instincts of thriving, of becoming better. So ultimately we have to get the edge of the full-blooded Saiyan, since they want to become better, not like the half-blooded Saiyans. They don't want to become better. They just take it as it's necessary.
Very, very true. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better than myself. I would stand 100% by that. Half Saiyans, great potential. Full Saiyans, they actually take advantage of their power and whatnot. Half Saiyans, like I said, get a bit too complacent for me, and we need to see a little bit more from them to fully give the edge to them.
Yeah. And with that, guys, Squadron out.
Definitely. Peace out, y'all.
I'm going to enjoy this. You and this planet will be nothing more than space dust! No one can withstand my strength. I am the strongest in the universe!